Have you ever felt that there's more to you than what you show the world? A version of yourself that lives in silence, watching your every move from the shadows. You laugh, you speak, you act as you think you should. But deep down, there's a whisper, something you can't quite name, that says, this isn't all of me. What if I told you that the person you believe yourself to be is only a small fragment of a much larger truth? That there are hidden forces within you shaping every decision, every desire, every fear, and you barely know they exist. You are not who you think you are. And the moment you understand this truth, your entire perception of reality begins to unravel. Every human being wears a mask, okay? Not out of deceit, but out of survival. It starts when we are children. We learn what earns love and what brings rejection. We adjust, we shapeshift, we hide certain emotions because we're told they're wrong. Maybe you learned to smile when you were hurting. Maybe you learned to be silent when you wanted to scream. Over time, those small adjustments create a persona, a socially approved version of you. Psychologist Carl Jung called it the persona, the mask we wear to interact with the world, to be accepted, to belong. But beneath that mask, something else is happening. Every emotion you suppress, every thought you deny, every impulse you reject, they don't disappear. They retreat into a hidden place within you, a place Jung called the shadow. The shadow is not evil, not your darkness in the sense of morality, simply the part of you that you refuse to see. Hold your repressed anger, jealousy, desire, but also your creativity, courage, and potential. Because what you hide is not always what's bad. Sometimes you hide your greatness too. When you suppress parts of yourself to fit in, you begin to live only half a life. The other half, your authentic self, gets buried under layers of fear, guilt, and conditioning. Think about how often you say, I'm fine, when you're not. Or how you avoid conflicts just to keep peace, even though silence slowly eats at your soul. The more you deny your shadow, the more power it gains, starts controlling you from behind the curtain. Why sometimes you react in ways that shock even yourself. An outburst of rage, sudden jealousy, or deep sadness you can't explain. You say, that's not me, but it is you. It's the part you've refused to acknowledge, finally finding its way to the surface. Modern society tells us that we are rational beings, that we control our choices, our emotions, our destinies, but neuroscience and psychology suggest otherwise. Most of what you do is not decided by your conscious mind. It's your subconscious, a vast ocean of memories, instincts, and conditioning that truly drives you. You think you're steering the ship, but most of the time, you're just watching it sail. The brain loves familiarity. Even if it's painful, it prefers the known over the unknown. That's why people repeat toxic patterns, stay in destructive habits, or fall for the same type of person again and again. It's not that they don't want to change, okay? It's that their unconscious mind is addicted to what feels familiar, case familiarity feels safe, and to the human mind often matters more than happiness. So you stay stuck in patterns you don't understand because the hidden parts of you, your shadow, are still running the show. The shadow rarely reveals itself directly. It hides in reflections in other people. Have you ever met someone who instantly irritated you, even though they did nothing wrong? Or felt intense admiration for someone you barely know? That's projection. Your unconscious is using others as mirrors to show you what's buried within. When you despise someone for being arrogant, maybe you're rejecting your own desire for confidence. When you envy someone's success, perhaps you're denying your own hunger for recognition. When someone's calmness annoys you, maybe it's because your own chaos feels unbearable. The people who trigger you are not your enemies. They're re-reflections of the parts you refuse to see. That's the secret most never understand. Your external world is often a projection of your internal one. You don't see reality as it is. You see it as you are. The world is your mirror. And every reaction you have is a message from the unseen parts of your mind. Inside you, there is a constant dialogue. The conscious self, your I, wants order, meaning, control. The unconscious, your hidden self, speaks in symbols, dreams, emotions, impulses. They often fight when the conscious mind rejects the unconscious. That inner tension manifests as anxiety, fear, depression, or emptiness. But when you start listening, when you dare to see what your shadow is trying to tell you, you begin to heal. Healing doesn't mean becoming pure light. It means integrating your darkness. It means accepting that within you exists both the saint and the sinner, the healer and the destroyer, the hero and the coward. True freedom comes not from choosing one over the other, but from holding both and saying, "This is me." There's a moment that happens in deep self-awareness, a crack in the illusion. You look in the mirror and realize the person staring back is both real and imagined, a construction made of memories, fears, and stories you've told yourself for years. It's terrifying, but it's also the beginning of awakening, because once you realize that yourself is not fixed, that it's a moving, living process, you gain the power to change it. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to be seen, wants to be integrated. It wants to remind you that light exists only because darkness does. Every part of you, even the ones you hate, is trying to protect you in some way. Anger tries to defend you from injustice. Fear tries to keep you safe. Sadness helps you release what's gone. When you stop fighting these emotions and instead listen to their message, you begin to align with your whole self, not just the polished surface, but the deep foundation beneath. And in that integration, something extraordinary happens. Peace, not the peace of perfection, but the peace of wholeness. To live authentically is not to always be positive or in control. It's to be real, to show up as you are, not who the world expects you to be. You will still wear masks. That's part of being human. But now, you'll know they're masks. You'll wear them consciously, not out of fear. You'll stop apologizing for your complexity. So stop hiding your emotions because they make others uncomfortable. You'll realize that vulnerability is not weakness, it's truth. The hidden self, once feared, becomes your greatest ally. It gives you intuition, creativity, depth, empathy. It connects you to something larger than your ego, to the collective human experience, to the pulse of existence itself. You'll begin to see others differently, too. You'll recognize that every person is also wearing masks, carrying wounds, hiding shadows. And with that understanding comes compassion for yourself and for them. So, who are you, really? It's not just your name, your story, your job, your past. You are the sum of everything you've accepted and everything you've denied. You are the visible and the invisible, the conscious and the unconscious, the dreamer and the dream itself. You are a paradox, a creature of light, exploring the depths of its own darkness. And that's the beauty of it, because once you stop fearing what's hidden within you, you stop fearing life itself. You realize that growth is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you've always been beneath the noise. So, the next time you look into the mirror and whisper, "I don't know who I am anymore," remember this. That's not a breakdown. That's a breakthrough. It's your hidden self finally answering back. And when you listen, truly listen, you'll discover that you were never lost. You were simply waiting to be found.